we should be good to go here. Get it going. And yeah. So, first matchup. You want to introduce the players? State anything you might find interesting about the matchup or anything?
Yeah, well, both civilizations are notoriously aggressive, aren't they? You've got the Indians who have got their early agra fort, and you've got the Russians, which love nothing more than putting down a blockhouse right outside your base. So it's going to be an interesting matchup. That's definitely it. If the game lasts longer than 15 minutes, it's going to be difficult, I suspect, for SoldieR to be able to really close this game out, just because with the economy that India's got behind it, as well as its elephants combined with its sowars, it's going to be difficult for SoldieR to really combat that cavalry force.
Yeah, it's getting into it really quick. That was not a spoiler by any means. 0 versus 2. I have not even seen the first game at all, besides what you guys have seen now. That was just from the previous show match that I did. My apologies on that. We had a little bit of technical difficulties. We were expecting a stream scoreboard, but it didn't work out. So I just had to make do with what we got. It is 0-0, H2O SoldieR, and here we go. This is the map. It is Saguenay. It is India versus Russia as Aussie. Shall I call you Aussie or Drago? Or
yeah, you can go with whatever you feel like.
We'll just call you Aussie, because I like calling someone just Aussie. That's kind of fun. So, as right. Aussie had said, so this is the map of India here. And, yeah, I got a couple treasures, 50 coin, 110 coin.
So it's definitely a map advantage for India, the Saguenay, just simply because there's a sheep that spawn out on the map. India have got 2 explorers, so it means they're going to be able to pick up those sheep more successfully. There's also a lot of good treasures on Saguenay as well. So age 1 for India, it's incredibly strong. So here we already see H2O's picking up a very good treasure, the 110 coin, and it just takes it with very, very little hassle or trouble whatsoever.
Yeah, we can see the HP. He lost about half HP on one of his Indian monks, but yeah, good point. The sheep are really important, really, really good for India. There's also the added benefit of being able to put an agra kind of in the middle of the map, and you're able to control all 3 TPs. An agra on this map actually does a lot more than most maps, because the whole top side of the map is covered by the water. So yeah, the aggro would be really, really nice. Looking over at Russia over here at SoldieR, he only gathered up 120 wood basically. So I was wondering if he was going to go a market or a trade post. He's going to do neither. So it's we see H2O gathering pretty much everyone on wood at the moment. Looking good for him.
Yeah, so he does have a huge amount of settlers that have started on wood. I'm curious if he's going to be looking for some sort of age 1 water play here, because I do know that that's quite common behind the agra fort, and especially being Saguenay. So we'll see what the first shipment is.
Yeah, we'll look at the decks real quick, and there we go. We got the deck. Go ahead and introduce this deck. Go ahead.
Yeah, so it's a standard land map, so he hasn't opted for any form of water cards. There's no age 2 caravels or age 3 caravels or frigate, and there's no schooners. Well, not the Indians get schooners, but there's no schooners equivalent in the first stage. So he's just gone with distributivism for the first card, which is the standard play.
Yeah, definitely standard play. He doesn't have any water cards, as you mentioned. Other things to note, he definitely has camel cards. You don't always see both of them. He has all Zambarak, Soar, so a few siege elephants. Has Gurkha, 7 Urumi. Looking off this deck, he could be doing H2 or H3 game play. You can always go H4. That infinite 9 Urumi is enough of a card in H4. That's the only thing you ever need to send. Looking over at SoldieR's deck real quick, we have it here. Fairly standard deck too. Has all the military shipments in H2. Doesn't have 600 wood, which that's fine. It's not like the meta necessarily to have it, but you could definitely fit it in there. has distributivism himself, spice trade, 9 Manchu, very nice card. That card can really swing games. Yeah, getting into it, looking at the age ups from both players, we see SoldieR starting to age, and H2O has not yet, even though he has the food to do so.
It's an interesting strategy, Cotton. Let's see how it plays out for him.
Yeah.
He's put that Joker fort down what seems about 200 food late.
Yeah.
So I'm curious as to whether there's a little bit of mind games going on there. Maybe he wanted, because he was aware of the Explorer from SoldieR in the base. It could have been that he was delaying putting down the aggro fort because he didn't want the opponent to have a read on him. It could have just been a misplay. I see his explorers are together at the top right hand corner of the map, so perhaps there was a bit of treasure micro going on, and
Yeah, I think it was just a misplay, to be honest. Introducing
Well,
H2O versus SoldieR here. H2O is an old-time legend, if you will. He used to be the best at the game. At least most people would say that. SoldieR is a up-and-coming, pretty good player. You guys probably know who he is. But he has been a little bit more active on the scene as of late. So H2O is going to see if he is good enough to match the play from SoldieR. We do see that H2O did definitely do an aggro in base. He is going to age a little bit slower than SoldieR, so I think it was kind of just a safe choice to do so versus Rush. Rush can get 5 Cossack out ASAP as he's doing right now, and if he had villagers near the aggro and the aggro wasn't built, that could have been pretty bad for him.
yeah, it's he's put down a market here. He's got a nice little front wall that he's got going against the Russians, and he's aged up. So it's quite a competitive aged up time, 4 minutes 40, despite starting that aggro 200 food late. So
Yeah.
we'll see. Are we able to switch over? Yeah, H2O. So his first shipment coming in at 700 wood. So we can see that behind this, SoldieR's actually taking the TP line. He's already picked up 2 trade posts.
Yeah.
So we'll perhaps see H2O try and snag the third one if he scouts that SoldieR's doing that, just because he'll undoubtedly be going for a stagecoach.
Yeah, based on both of these civilizations and this matchup, I think Russia needs to have the tempo early. The the economy from India is a lot stronger than from Russia, so they can boom a little bit more, and the aggro is really good for defensive purposes. So we could definitely see India playing it a little bit more defensive early on. However, with the trade route, the stagecoach, if he gets the upgrade on that, it's really...
So we can see that the Cossacks are moving around towards the south of the map just here, and he's continuing to take the trading line. So he's got 2 TPs up now, and it's only 5 minutes 46. He hasn't appeared to have trained anything from his blockhouse, which is quite interesting. He's put the blockhouse down, he's used it purely as his shipment point. He hasn't built anything, so he somewhat played a psychological game in using the power of the Russian reputation that it's going to be a strong rush coming in, and then he's just not done anything with it. He's gone for a complete economic focus. My suspicion is that behind this, he's going to be getting his full market upgrades. He's dropping down that 3rd trading post now, so Stagecoach is probably on the way, and yep, Stagecoach is 66% through.
Yeah,
so
it should come in. I'm really curious if it's going to finish before this trade post goes up. If he is able to get the trade post up first, it gives you a little bit of XP just from researching it per trade post. So that's
he's timed it perfectly.
Nice, very nice. So he gets that. He's sent 700 wood. It's hard to see what he sent so far. He's sending 13 starlets now. So it looks like he did distributivism into 5 Cossack, into 4 Cossack. Looks like,
into 700 wood.
I
think a couple of them have died so he went for a few raids, so I suspect 5 Cossacks would have died by now.
Okay.
But yeah, 700 wood. A little bit of a misplay here, sending the wood to the front, blockhouse from SoldieR, but it's not under any real threat because H2O's not in a position to push out and threaten it at all. Even if he knew it was there, he wouldn't be bothering.
Yeah.
With this second outpost going up, we're going to expect to see a pretty powerful timing here. He's going to have all three of the trade posts up. He's probably going to be macroing very heavily for food. I'm not sure whether he's had his steel traps upgrade yet, but he might be having plans to be sending...
He's getting hunting dogs now.
He's only getting hunting dogs now, so perhaps we'll see him go hunting dogs, place some mines into steel traps, and then from the home city he'll send spice trade, because I did note spice trade is in his deck, and we'll just see a big timing push where he just hits H2O really, really hard.
Yeah, I'll go over to H2O real quick and see it from his perspective. He is just now getting out of the Ottoman consulate. He does have some Zambarak training. He's got Gurkha, a few Sepoy. He is making villagers, of course, and he's sending distributivism. So he went pretty greedy. I believe that was distributivism into 700 wood into he's shipped. He shipped a couple military shipments, but he shipped 300 export and foreign logging already. So he has all of his villager shipments, if you will, already in. And it's, SoldieR does have the trade posts, so that's really, really strong. The stagecoach trade posts. He does have all of his TPs are on coin currently, looking like he's probably going to try to age.
It definitely looks like he's macroing towards that age up, doesn't he? He's about to hit it right now.
Yeah,
so
sure.
An interesting strategy. So he's got the 2 falconets in the deck. So highly likely that we're going to be seeing him shipping those 2 falconets.
Yeah, 2 falconets, very, very strong. Russia is able to do that, and in H3 versus India, I'm guessing he's probably going to go lots of Gurkha, maybe some muskets and falconets. Lots of sepoy is what I meant to say. With lots of Gurkha on the other side, muskets are not quite as good as they could be. We'll go over to SoldieR, see when he is looking to age up. Not anytime soon, it looks like. So
yeah. He is training Sawas though, and he's also shipping them from the home city.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we can expect to see perhaps a big cav switch coming in, because he's already got quite that large infantry mass. I'll be interested to see his reaction when SoldieR ages up, because I think SoldieR's elected to age up with the exiled prince, so we should be seeing him. Oh no, I think that might be the slow. Yeah, okay, it's the slow age up. Yeah, so he's definitely holding that age up.
Yeah, he's picking up all the treasures around the map, getting as much experience as he can. Good stuff for him. That'll definitely elevate him a little bit. Neither player has any water cards in their deck, if you will. But it would be interesting for, say, Russia to add a couple, or a dock and a few fishing boats now. That could do. That's one option to get ahead economically. Looking at the scores, H2O is a little bit ahead on the score. He has a slightly bigger army, but we do have SoldieR hitting H2 soon, and H2O not anytime soon. Looks like H2O is pushing out now, and he's running to the blockhouses. Yeah, this could be a rough for SoldieR.
Yeah, he's also timed it with his muskets from the consulate as well. And I don't think H2O is expecting to see how much infrastructure SoldieR's got here on the front lines. There's 3 blockhouses that are all within sieging, or within distance of if SoldieR goes for, or if H2O goes for a siege, SoldieR's going to be able to hold it with all 3 blockhouses. So we see here that the Sawas are moving in from the western side. The age ups happen, so the Strelets are popped down. We're not able to see. Are we able to switch over to SoldieR and see if he's got veterancy upgrades on the way? He does have the Strelet veterancy upgrade and the Strelet combat on the way, but it doesn't look like it's going to be enough.
Yeah, they're not going to arrive until all the Strelets are down. So it's about the worst possible time to fight this. Veteran Strelet and Strelet combat coming in, but he's going to lose all of his Strelets at that point. So really, really rough fight for SoldieR. He's not even sending, say, 2 falconets or something that he could use behind this to perhaps mount a comeback. He's just losing all his Strelets before his before Strelet combat even comes in. That's really rough to see.
He's even hiding a couple Strelets out in his trading post, but I don't think those 2 Strelets are going to be able to hold, unfortunately. This is...
Yeah, that's true.
So H2O's hit him at the perfect time. Just as he was aging up, he was pushing in. He obviously suspected something. There was no pressure coming in. He'd taken the 3 trading posts. There was no military mass that was pushing at his front door. So he had to make that decision that he had to push out. And he did it at the perfect time, before the Strelet combat could come in, before the veterancy could come in. Had those 2 upgrades had come in for the fight, it would have been a completely different outcome.
Yeah, it at least would have been an even outcome probably. But they do not come in, and as you said, H2O hit at just the right time, 30 seconds slower. He might have lost this game, but really well done from him, and he wipes the floor of SoldieR's army. He has basically nothing left at all. So these blockhouses will go down, I believe, next. I'm curious when SoldieR is going to call it. But yeah, this is a really, really well played game from H2O. He's still age 2, and SoldieR aged up. Perhaps SoldieR could have masked a little bit more before he aged. Perhaps he was thinking H2O was going to age himself. Usually when you're playing defensive like that, you can, you're kind of... You want to gain an advantage either economically or military or age-wise, but SoldieR didn't really expect. I think maybe H2O to have that huge army, and he gets mopped up there. Really good game. What were the key aspects of that game for you, Ozzy?
I think the key aspect for me was just the speed of the Sours. It's important that you don't underestimate them. So they came in with such speed from the left-hand side of the map. They just moved over so quickly that even though SoldieR saw them coming, by the time he'd reacted and began moving his Strelets away from the front line and trying to get them around the trees, the Soar were already on top of him. And so it just really goes to show that if in a situation like this where you're playing a little bit more greedy, you're going for those upgrades, you have to be patient with your army. You can't hope to keep your army on the front line and defend your infrastructure. If you're expecting 30 or 35% of upgrades to come in, you got to wait for those upgrades before you fight. And if your army's out of position, or if you get caught by Soars with their insanely high movement speed, it's going to be a difficult fight for you. And unfortunately for SoldieR, it was for him as well.
Yeah, for sure. All right, well, I'll take a look at the post-game real quick for you guys. We see it is H2O killing a lot more units, as is expected. Combat XP was actually fairly close, but yeah, we'll look at the military unit population, and you see that we see that SoldieR did get a really good mass, sorry, H2O got a really good mass, but SoldieR actually had more. But he was not able to fight without getting those upgrades. And of course, Russia units are, especially the Strelets, are not population efficient at all, while India's units are very much so. Looking at the resources, we see that H2O was pretty much ahead of the whole game, even with the trade posts income that SoldieR had. So really well done from him. We'll look at the shipments real quick, and we even see that India was ahead on shipments towards the end of the game. Just crazy. Well played from H2O. He takes that 1-0. And yeah, for the next game, I'm wondering if SoldieR losing like this is going to affect his gameplay at all. Perhaps he will play a little bit more H2 instead of aging up. For anyone curious, the rules of the tournament is that the maps here. Let me read out the maps real quick. The maps are: first map is Saguenay, second is Borneo, then Manchuria, Mexico, Central Plains, Baja California, and then Korea. For the Civ, you can't win with the Civ more than once. So if you win with the Civ, you can't use it anymore. The very first game, I don't know how they decided that, the very first game matchup, but they probably just did a Civ dance deciding a matchup that they're happy with. And then there was, for the second game, H2O will be picking first since he was the winner. So we're gonna get into that. I'm gonna do the stream overlay so that we don't see how many games were played. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited to see them playing on Indonesia. It's a little bit more water focused than Saguenay, so perhaps we'll see some civilizations that are more focused on water fighting and dominating the water. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm always interested in a boom off. So let's hope that we see something akin to that.
Yeah, I don't know. Here we go. The map here is Indonesia. I don't know that this one will actually load because we saw guys didn't see it, but I saw it. A soldier already said out, so perhaps this is the wrong one, or maybe it will actually work. We'll see.
I think it might be it's a bug that happens where some of the replay text gets stored within the replay file, and it will play it back. So I think that might be the
from
what
like
was
last
said
game
at
or
the end,
whatever.
the end of last game. Correct. Yeah. And so
Yeah.
they're just having a discussion with each other.
Yeah.
And obviously, there's no way to know whether your opponent or not has left the game or not. So you got to say out to let them know that you're not in the game anymore.
Yeah, for this game we have Portuguese versus Chinese. Very good matchup. This is a matchup I love to see. It is Portuguese versus Chinese. Both civilizations kind of prefer to be in age 3 or age 4. Both civilizations are not the best in age 2 fighting. So I would kind of expect an FF from both civilizations. You could see even some water play. So we'll see what decks they have in a bit. Taking a look at the map, we do see that the Portuguese explorer is working on a 65 coin treasure. We see that China is working on 75 food. We did see also a trade post start from SoldieR, and he is going to get a village out shortly.
It's going to be an interesting game, especially with the water in the game and H2O on Portuguese. So I'm curious whether we're going to be seeing him just opting for a straight fast fortress, or whether he's going to look to remain in H2 for a little bit longer, maybe get some more fishing boats out, and then opting for a more economic focused fortress age. So I'll be curious to see which deck he elects to go with, but I suspect there's no way he's playing Portugal on Indonesia without a water deck.
Yeah, this could be really big. I'm going to go to Turning Fog of War on. H2O had, I thought earlier I saw he had 200 wood, and I thought he had chopped a little bit of wood for a trade post, but picked up a treasure first. He's not going a trade post start. Somewhat surprising for Portugal. And we do see that SoldieR left these treasure guardians though, and H2O picks up 70 food. That's 140 food swing. So really, really good for H2O there. We'll see if he is able to get away from the Chinese monk, though. Really nice pull trick from SoldieR there, trying to get the monk in on top of the explorer, but H2O is not having any of it. We'll see if what they're able to do if he's able to catch up to him, though. Certainly H2O is not able to do a whole lot versus this really strong age 1 hero that he has, that China has. We do see H2O aging up now, and SoldieR is far from it.
Yeah, SoldieR still has a while to go. So H2O was also sending in the Schooners card. So he's definitely going to be looking for some water play. Most likely going to be seeing Schooners, then 700 wood, then 700 coin. As his build order, he's transitioned everybody over to wood. And we've got a heap of water cards in the deck. We've got 2 caravels in H2, 3 caravels in H3, and a frigate as well to go on top of it. So he is absolutely locked and loaded for water play.
Yeah. He also has Colonial Militia, very good card, especially for Portugal. Has the Mamelukes, has several other good shipments. It doesn't look like he'll be trying to go to Age 4 super quickly. He doesn't have any military shipments in Age 4. Looking over at SoldieR's deck here, we see that he still hasn't aged up yet. He does have East Indiaman himself, and he has 1 Futran in Age 3. Otherwise, he does not have any water cards himself. Does look like there's a little bit of contesting of this, and I believe SoldieR actually got that.
Yeah, like SoldieR got that, didn't it?
Yeah.
He did. So Soldier getting one back there.
Yeah, very nice stuff from him. And he did get the snare on the Portuguese Explorer also, so he may be able to pick up that XP on top of it. See, he is aging. He's aging with the Summer Palace as is expected to age too. We do see that the Chinese monk is doing a lot though. It's really good stuff from him. Let's go over to H2O's point of view and see what he does in H2.
He's about to hit H2, and I think Soldier knows that, so he's pulled back because obviously H2O's got his town center right there, and just a couple shots of that, and the tide is quickly turned. So we'll see where H2O places his town center. He's doing a bit of a dance with it, but he's elected to go towards the east of the map and place it down, protecting this coin mine, a hunt, some trees, and most importantly, protecting that water. That's going to enable his boats to really have some good cover there.
Yeah, he doesn't have but 2 fishing boats out. He is, I think, going to go for a trade post maybe, or just probably more schooners. Yeah, more fishing boats. That's what he's going for. He's got to be careful with his hero, though. The hero from SoldieR is coming back to try to catch him out. At this point in the game, it's a sticky situation. Is that what you're going to say?
Yeah, I was going to say, it's a sneaky explorer. He's always looking to come in and find an angle, and he's doing that once again here, isn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, I'll take a look at the Chinese deck real quick. I want to see the H4 cards. You guys were mentioning that in chat. He has Meteor Hammers, Arquebus, Chengdao, and Rat and Shields. And the H2 hero from Portugal, I think will actually best the H1 hero from China here. But the H1, the age up from China comes in, and he should be able to win this fight. All right, looking at it, go ahead.
I was going to say he's switched over his army at the Summer Palace, so picking up the 3 pike and the 3 crossbow. We also see him going for the standard China Fast Fortress, which is the 700 coin followed by the 700 wood. It'll be curious to see whether he does opt for that fast industrial. He's got a huge amount of cards in the industrial age, normally a little bit more than what you'd expect to see with a Chinese deck.
Oh, what's so huge is this disciple just missed the dock. The dock was right here, and he just barely missed that dock. And knowing that the dock was already out would actually affect how he plays quite a bit. Just perhaps sending the Futran first in H3. He does have is you can see the house over here. That's the first inkling that I've seen outside of his deck, of course, that SoldieR might guess that he is going water for sure. Having houses along the shore kind of helps just give an advance warning of any ships coming in. So and he sees the
dock. A dock.
Yeah.
He's just spotted that dock. It was interesting. He somewhat doubled back over to go check. He said, "Hold on, give me one more look." And he sent that disciple out, and the disciple wasn't blind. He spotted it. So H2O picking up Rendering Plant as his 3rd shipment in the game. So Rendering Plant's going to enable him to build up this significant economy, not opting to send 700 coin. He's going for a huge economic focus. Already at 37 villages. We're only at 6 minutes 20. He's going off the chains right now.
Yeah, he has almost all of his land villagers onto wood, a couple on food, but I'm expecting those to probably come off pretty shortly. Looking over at SoldieR, he is aging with the porcelain tower to 3 as is expected. He does have a little bit of wood sitting around that he hasn't used yet. He does still have that trade post. He is on 23 villagers. We look over at H2O. He's on 39, so huge advantage to him already. We'll see if SoldieR is able to make a large mass of units and able to punish the sea play from H2O. But yeah, one of the hard things about China in this matchup is you kind of have to go to H3 just to get a large mass. But in that amount of time, Portugal is able to get a lot of units out. So H2O playing it really well. SoldieR has he's building with all 8 villagers, so he's going to be shipping lots of units as soon as he hits the next stage.
Yeah, placing down a forward village here as well. Yeah. So he's protecting a resource as well as using it as a shipment drop-off point. So we're going to definitely see some aggression out of him. I think my question, though, just remains whether it's going to be age 3 aggression or age 4 aggression. when you know that your opponent's on water, it's really just a ticking time bomb.
Yeah.
It's only a matter of time until your opponent outscales you, and so you've got to hit them swiftly. You've got to hit them with an attack that you know is going to kill them. And it looks like he's going to be doing the fast industrial.
Yeah, fast industrial. I'm slightly surprised by this. I mean, just slightly. China has an amazing fast industrial, but we're gonna look over at the villagers that both players have. It is 26 to 51, so basically double for Portugal right now, 52. So yeah, exactly double currently. And it's just going to keep on being a larger discrepancy there as the game keeps on going on. I was going to say it did look like he was macroing for an FI as you were talking about that. He does have a War Academy going up, and we'll see what he does with all that. Yeah, H4. He'll have a large amount of units. We'll see if H2O is aging up now, so I'm guessing he's going to try to fight it out in H3.
Yeah, so it looks like he sent the 700 coin. Was that his 4th shipment? Are we able to double check and see what he's sent so far in his deck?
Yeah.
So yeah,
go ahead.
Yeah, we've got the schooners into the 700 coin into the rendering plant, and then the 700 wood into the rendering plant into the 700 coin. And the reason those two shipments are blocked out, the crossbowmen and the muskets, is because he's currently population blocked.
Yeah.
So it looks like he's sent them, but he hasn't.
Right.
We've got a bit of action now. The north dock is slowly but steadily being burnt to the ground. To respond to it, right? H2O's got a stable up, so most likely going to just be seeing some dragoons out here. But he's also macroing, interestingly, as well. I'm curious as if we're going to just be seeing 1,000 coin sent out by H2O. Are we able to check his deck and see if he's got 1,000 coin? He does have 1,000 coin. So we might see just a handful of units placed down by H2O, and then just 1,000 coin shipped, just to really speed his age up there. Because it does look like he's macroing quite heavy towards food. There's a lot of food that's being left there. Oh,
yeah, we have a Fushuan out. Fushuan, is that how you pronounce it? I'm sure you know better than I do. Got that good Aussie pronunciation coming in. Yeah, Fushuan should do really, really well here. We'll see what H2O is doing in response. He's sending a frigate right now. We'll get to see a frigate versus a Fushuan there. We do see the dock going down, the house going down, a couple fishing boats, and it is really good stuff from SoldieR to get that out. Looking over at Soldier's deck, go ahead.
I was going to say, it's very interesting that he's gone for this fast industrial, but at the same time, he's focused on shutting down this economy from H2O. I think he's in a really strong position here, because all of the early game, H2O's been working towards being able to have this economy. He's got his upgrades for his fishing boats, he sent rendering plant from his home city, and now with this single shipment, Soldier's able to shut it down, at least for the interim. He's just finished, H2O's just finished creating that frigate. He's got a second one on the way, so he's going to be able to shut down this enemy attack.
Yeah.
But he's invested in it a huge amount of resources, which almost guarantee SoldieR that he's going to be fighting up one age over H2O.
Yeah, for sure. We'll look at the military mass, still fairly small. Going back over to Soldier's point of view, he just shipped he aged up with the Arquebus, got that out. He's shipping Cheng Dao right now. Interesting thing to note is that H2O did not get any trade posts. That's an okay thing for sure, but the trade post can definitely help a little bit. He is going goons at the moment, and we'll look over and see he's going goons and Cassador. No organ guns or anything else at the moment. The frigates would be a nice addition along the shore to help him defend some of these buildings and whatnot, though.
And SoldieR's saying in the chat he can't select his boat. I assure all the viewers we are not in beta. I repeat, we are not in beta. This is a full release game. It's interesting. So the place that he's placed his town center, it means that if SoldieR does want to siege this town center, it's going to be having the protection of the frigates. The frigates have got an enormous range on them, and they're going to be able to attack any sieging units quite easily from the shorelines.
Yeah, good stuff from him. You do see that H2O did lose a lot of his goons coming in there early. Chukunu and Pikeman, some of the very best units to deal with goons, honestly. Both are, especially in conjunction, very, very good. You see the Qingdao coming forward now, so this is going to be
That is so many Chengdao.
Yeah, that's so many Qingdao. It's going to be really hard for H2O to deal with this. He's got very little army out. Looking over at SoldieR, he is making... Okay, he's shipping Arquebus now, and yeah, I tend to agree with you. This is going to be really hard for H2O to deal with. He is up on score, but he has little to no military left on the map right now. So it's going to be really hard for him to do anything.
But what he does have is water dominance. It looks like he's been able to take out SoldieR's boat. And I don't see any red dots in the sea whatsoever. And so as a consequence, it means that H2O has got complete water dominance. He's going to be able to keep his fishing boats alive. They're going to be able to remain on resources. And as long as he's able to stay on land at least somewhat, he should be able to hold. Just simply because if he needs them, those frigates are going to come back around and they're going to be able to defend. We saw that house that was placed earlier along the shoreline. Even though it's been sieged to the ground, that house was placed there with the intention that one day, if needed, that frigate would be able to come back around and defend that house.
Yeah, one of the rough things about China is you can get a huge mass for sure, but you cannot help.
The Chinese mass is really starting to build up to this point. Keep in mind that with SoldieR, he's aged up with the Porcelain Tower, which is the equivalent of 8 villages, the Summer Palace, which is also training units, and he's also got Flying Crows coming in. So even though his village account only looks like a 36 village account, it's significantly higher than that because he's trickling in units as well as resources from these age up wonders that aren't really calculated on the UI that we've got. So even though the economies might seem a little bit off balance, they are a lot closer together. And SoldieR is in a prime position right here. He's pushing into H2O's base. There's not a lot that he can do. We can see he's putting up military infrastructure. The barracks is halfway done, and he's just simply unable to hold this defense, or to hold a defense at this point. Ship the 2 organ guns, and it doesn't look like SoldieR's got any real response to this, but because of how much light infantry or ranged infantry he's got, he's going to be able to snipe those organs if H2O makes a misplay. So H2O needs to be really, really careful with those organs.
Yeah, for sure. Once the Flying Crow comes out, the Flying Crow will be able to make very short work of the organs. One of the things that's rough about China is they're forced to make 2 different units at once, and these Qingdao in this matchup, they can take some shots and whatnot, but being able to go like basically pure Castador at the moment for H2O, he is making some goons, of course, to protect from meteor hammers, but Castador do really, really, really well versus Arquebus and Qingdao. So we do see the organ guns getting a shot off. I'm waiting to see when a Flying Crow will emerge for SoldieR. That's going to be the point where he's going to really be able to push home his advantage, I think. All right, he ships the 2 Flying Crows just now.
Yeah, he's shipped 2, and the 3rd one is just generated now from the Wonder. So it's going to have a huge power swing at this point. This is definitely a power spike for him.
Yeah, looking really, really good for SoldieR at the moment. The score's neck and neck. Despite H2O being full on water, these crows are going to be able to deal with the organs pretty easily if they can get the shots off. H2O, he is going to lose them, it looks like. And he's not pulling them back.
Wake up, H2O.
Surely he can see.
He's got it.
All right, okay. Just in time. One thing I would have liked to see H2O do is build his buildings a little bit closer to the shore. That just does a lot towards protecting them. Your 2 frigates are able to defend pretty well. Those Flying Crows take down buildings so freaking fast. It's crazy.
Yeah, they've got the 2 times multiplier against buildings and 285 damage. So yeah, they've got such a beautiful animation. I love watching them take them down, setting off those Flying Crows.
Yeah. They have the 3rd Flying Crow coming forward right now for SoldieR. He has a couple Meteor Hammer and Iron Flails. He is making some more. He's teching solely into that. I'm not sure he's seen the huge mass of goons that H2O has. So it's... honestly, I think I like the position from H2O more here. Looking over at SoldieR, he has 42 villagers, and Portugal has 78. So yes, SoldieR has a Summer Palace. He has the Confucian Academy training units, but... training Flying Crows, but I think I like it a little bit more from H2O. It is very, very close, though. The Flying Crows are really hard to deal with. Now, perhaps if there was some Culverin coming out, which I believe, yeah, H2O is making now, he's going to be able to push back those Flying Crows with that. And in the meantime, SoldieR is doing a lot of damage, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. It's going to be really, really close, that's for sure.
Yeah, so it looks like Ryan pushing in, attempting to get a snipe here on one of the Flying Crows. Takes it down to about 30% health with the Dragoons, but he's lost a couple as a consequence.
That's huge. Losing a bunch of goons before all his cav comes in, before China's cav comes in, that could be a very deciding aspect of this match for sure. We do see the organ guns getting some nice shots onto this Chang Dao there. So pretty much all of them are down now. One Culverin comes out, and they're going to be able to focus on the Flying Crows. We do see how fast the Flying Crows took out the organ guns. It looks like the army from H2O is going to be able to clean up. Most all of his Castor are still alive. This TC will probably go down. We see a soldier talking to himself and H2O responding. But yeah, units in the back. Meteor Hammer, that was a shipment that old soldier is not using in this fight. With hardly any goons left, that could have been really, really good for him to use. But he has not done so. The Culverin comes out, gets a couple shots. I believe that will be the third shot into...
it looks like they might have been having some lag in the game. So we can see that they're saying, do we keep going? Are we fighting? So it seems as though... So we're also watching the Flying Crows hitting the houses and hitting the town center. So they were choosing to shoot over the units instead of... or choosing to shoot at the buildings rather than the units. So most likely what's happened is there's been a bit of lag in the game. When I say a bit of lag, I suspect probably close to 5 or 10 seconds. And the whole fight has played out with almost no micro on SoldieR's end. And so it means that he's lost that battle quite tremendously. I'm curious to see what that battle would have been like without that in-game lag. I know that the devs are working on it at the moment, but it's a bug that I've experienced at the moment quite a bit. So hopefully we'll be able to see SoldieR pull out and see if he can make a comeback. But unfortunately, H2O has pulled away significantly in score. He's up 4k at this point. He's got a significant mass. He's in prime position. He's shipping his unit upgrades cards as well as crates of resources.
Yeah, to be honest, I mean, if SoldieR was microing more in that fight, or able to micro, shall we say, I'm not sure. I don't think he would have. I don't think H2O would have lost that fight. He had a really, really nice massive units. The Culverin was enough, I think, to deal with the Flying Crows. And he did win it, of course, but I think the most SoldieR could have done in that situation would be to pull back, honestly. Pretty much all the Chang Dao went down, I believe, while he was still being able to micro. The Arquebuss weren't doing a whole lot, and the Flying Crow wasn't doing a whole lot in the back after that point, after the Chang Dao and several Meteor Hammers went down. But we did see that H2O was microing pretty well there himself, so yeah. At the end of that, though, we actually see SoldieR is up in score. He shipped some Rattan Shields. He's got a large mass of Meteor Hammers here. He's got some infantry also, shipping Falconet from the Consulate. And this is going to be a pretty close fight, I think. There's a lot of Meteor Hammers and Iron Flails in on the Castador. There's not enough goons, I don't think, to deal with them. As a huge mass with all the Rattan Shields behind, they're going to be able to do really well themselves. No cannons to speak of for H2O, so this is really, really hard for him to be able to deal with this fight, I think. Lots of melee units. If SoldieR cleans up this fight, it could be over for H2O, and it's looking like he is going to do so. H2O has only a couple goons left, and Falconet is able to come on. The Rattan Shields are cleaning up villagers and Castador, so really good stuff from him. I think this may be Soldier's fight. Actually, I think it will be really, really good fight for him. China just age 4. This just shows the power of the tech advantage that he had. We see the Honored Arquebus coming in with still the disciplined meteor hammers and whatnot. But the goons are going to pick off the cannon, and we do see we see Town Center protecting the villagers of H2O there. Yeah.
It was incredibly interesting to see how quickly SoldieR was able to remass. He lost almost his entire army, and then within the space of 60 to 120 seconds, so complaining, I think 20-second freeze, there we go, SoldieR saying. So yeah, I saw down the bottom, we saw the arquebuses just walking past through dragoons. But despite the lag, SoldieR still managed to come out on top, and with such a huge mass as well. Just really out of nowhere, he just pulled it out of thin air. So just showing the true power of the Chinese industrial age here. Yeah.
I'm curious, neither player has really recognized that there's villagers and TC gathering right beside each other there. We do see that SoldieR, after the end of this fight, he does have more units. He's got 2 Flying Crows. He needs to be careful with them, though. There is no protection for them. And pure goons and cav currently from H2O should be able to clean that up pretty easily. And he is pulling the Flying Crows back now, I believe. But I think the Hussar are going to get on top of them. Oof.
Yeah, it looks like the market's given the line of sight, unfortunately.
Yeah. We'll look over at the shipments and see. SoldieR has just the infinite 2 Flying Crows pretty much, and that's all he's probably going to send the rest of the game. He does not have many old dynasty units, the Chokanu, Pike, Steppe, or the Keshik, so I don't expect him to send that. He is getting a 3rd War Academy out now, and he's got more Flying Crows going forward. As long as he has enough protection for the Flying Crows, he should be in a pretty decent position. We'll see how many culverins H2O is able to get out. We do see that the sentries and the regulars are finally called and picking off some villagers here. So, yeah. Who do you think is in the stronger position at the moment, Ozzy?
It's a little bit hard to tell, but I think it might be SoldieR, and the reason why is because he's put up his 3rd TC in the west of the map, and he is gearing up for the late game at this point. He's safely on berries here. He's not too worried about enemy hussars. He's in an incredibly strong position. He's got this infinite 2 crow shipment or 2 flying crow shipment, and all he really needs to do is hit 99 villages and remain on land, and he's going to push H2O out eventually. So yeah, my money at this point is still on SoldieR to be able to win this. However, it's important we never underestimate the power of Portuguese water, very famously undertaken by Kinesi. It looks like H2O is going to be playing that same style. We could see the military or the ship sitting right on the shore, ready to go. So it's they're very slippery. You've got to be really careful of the Portuguese. How about you? Who do you think's in a better position here?
It's hard to say for sure. H2O does see the stock going up, but I don't believe he has any... Where's the frigates? The frigates are going over
on the
now.
way.
Yeah. If H2O was in Age 4 right now, he would be able to get some monitors, and they would do a whole lot versus basically everything, the whole infrastructure that SoldieR has. He's obviously not Age 4. We do see some cav coming in here, though, and we'll see what he's able to do with it. As I was saying earlier, SoldieR has an insane amount of Flying Crows. The Flying Crows actually do pretty well versus the ships, so we'll see if he uses them on that. He is not currently. Yeah, as I was saying earlier, though, as long as SoldieR has enough protection for his Flying Crows, he should be in a decent position. Flying Crows just now about to go over to the ships. It'd be nice to heal up that one ship.
I'm fearful that he might still be lagging. Those Flying Crows were just so close to being able to hit those frigates, and had he taken those frigates out, it would have been almost over for H2O. Just because it's such a loss of resources, 1,000 resources on each one of those.
Yeah, we see the whole the army from SoldieR is disjointed, all spread apart, and divide and conquer for H2O currently. The Flying Crows have no protection currently. If H2O was able to catch those out, that'd be pretty big. We do see that that SoldieR is almost done taking all of the fish on the sea. There are some whales, of course; those never go away. But yeah, it's hard to say for sure. SoldieR's shipping 2 more flying crows. He's gonna have an army of just flying crows apparently at this point.
You can never have too many, and that's a huge, massive cavalry down here at the southern town center of SoldieR. That's concerning to see. SoldieR's score is still holding up with H2O's though. It definitely seems like H2O's got the military advantage, but it's important we don't underestimate the power of these flying crows.
Yeah.
2 or 3 shots from these, and they're just going to wipe out. There they go. Oof, yeah.
Yeah.
They've got a huge amount of damage on them.
We're going to need to see some culverins from H2O. He's got 2 out, but he's going to need more than that. And he's got his army caught out here. He does come from the back with the goons and the cav. No protection from SoldieR for them. And all of those flying crows may be able to go down, but the flying crows have done their damage. Basically, all of the Castor, the vast majority of them, are down. I don't know if H2O is going to be able to do a whole lot at this point. He's still got several flying crows left, despite the excellent flank from H2O. And looks like almost no army left. He really needs to get the culverins in on a fight with that many flying crows. Yeah, this is looking rough. Score-wise, SoldieR's in the lead. I do think you're right that SoldieR, I think, has the advantage here. If H2O was able to get to H4 at some point, I think perhaps he might have been okay. But yeah, H3 versus H4, even with a... let's actually take a look at the economies. It is 66 to 77. Yeah, SoldieR is in a commanding lead at this point. The economies are even. The tech advantage is in his favor. The infinite 2 flying crows is in his favor. And yeah, the culverins do get some nice shots out, but I think it's just a little bit too late. Yeah.
To me, it all goes back to that shipment of the fusion into the ocean right outside H2O's base, because H2O immediately had to react. He invested 1,000 coin in that. There was the 500 coin from the first frigate that he made, as well as the second frigate that he had to ship from the home city, which kept him in the third age. And SoldieR was able to buy time. He was able to age up. He was able to put pressure on immediately, and the pressure's never come off. And H2O has never had an opportunity to age up because he had to make units the entire time to be able to survive. So I think it's an incredibly smart play for him to have shipped that fusion when he did.
Yeah, for sure. I don't think H2O, based on his deck, was ever expecting to age to 4 versus China. But it definitely put him on the back foot. 500 wood, 500 coin, and a card being shipped to try to deal with the Fushuan. He still has the frigates out, did not heal up either one. But yeah, I don't know. The armies from China in H4 are good, but the armies from Portugal are really, really good too, even in H3. So I think just the H4 shipments and being able to keep H2O on the back foot, never really able to push out, not effectively, has done a lot. Certainly, if anyone could come back, we could definitely see H2O do so here. We do see a war junk out trying to deal with the fishing boats of H2O. We have a little bit of a fight going on here, and it's looking close for sure. I think I do give the advantage over to SoldieR for sure.
Yeah, it looks like we've got a fight breaking out with the Flying Crows taking some wonderful shots there. The AoE on them's not as large as the heavy cannon. Had they been heavy cannons, we probably would have seen all the Castadors die. But fortunately, just a couple dying there for H2O.
Yeah,
he's macroing quite well in this position, but he does have 19 idols at the moment.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it might be just the leftover fishing boats. It's quite natural that once you've finished your fishing boom, you've got a whole bunch. There they are, 12 fishing boats just sitting idle.
Yeah, he is near max population. Looking over at SoldieR, he is near max himself. Yeah, it's rough for H2O at this point. His economy is very strong. You can't really ever completely underestimate rendering plant plus whale oil. Just really, really good stuff. Really good shipments. Going to be able to have an endless supply of coin coming in the rest of the game. He does need, I think, some culverins. He's opting to go more towards the cavalry side of things. A few Castador, but one thing you can do versus China, you don't always see it, but one thing you can do versus China is actually go lots and lots of cavalry. It's a little bit hard for China to deal with. Chengdaos are okay versus cavalry, just a 2.25 times multiplier. It gives them about 50 attack, which is good, but it's not as good as other melee infantry versus cavalry. Also, the only ranged cav you have is the Keshik, which without upgrades is not even mediocre. It's kind of pretty bad. He does have the cav himself. One of the better answers actually for China versus cavalry. But yeah, we'll see what H2O is able to do here. If he's able to smash this fight, maybe he will be able to push it home to a victory. It looks like he's coming in now. He's getting a good flank a little bit onto those cannons. All the cav from SoldieR are coming in on the Castor themselves. The Hussar are all out of position. He needs to just engage. Honestly, taking on the lower amount of Chengdao wouldn't even be a terrible thing. But the Flying Crows and the Falcon is able to get in on top of them. The Hussar are doing really well, and they are going to be able to smash this fight with the Castors behind, I think, but it's close. It's close. There's only a few Chengdao left. The Castador have almost no counters left at the moment. The Flying Crows and the Arquebus, there's a large mass of them left, though, and it looks like the Hussar have petered out. Looks like there's almost none left, and it looks like just the H4 upgrades from SoldieR is really going to be able to pay off. He does take home this battle, it looks like, and I'm curious when the end of the game will be called for H2O. That was an important fight. The Mamelukes doing work, but not enough. Yeah, that was pretty close. Oh, they calls it GG.
The GG indeed. Yeah, that was an incredible game. It's unfortunate that there was a bit of lag there and some of the fights didn't go the way that they should have. But in the end, I think that SoldieR definitely had the advantage through the strategy that he chose. In the last fight there, we saw that he continued to rally Cav to the fight, and his economy behind this was huge. Having the 90 villagers, he's just really set himself up for the late game incredibly well.
Yeah. The frigate and the card definitely did do a lot. If he would have been able to push back the army from the initial push of SoldieR a little bit more effectively, that could have swung the whole point of the game. So yeah, that was really a good point for SoldieR to make that. It of course did cost a card and 200, I believe it's 200 coin for the Fushuan himself from SoldieR. But he was able to slow down the economy of H2O a little bit, as you had mentioned. And yeah, it was a rough game for H2O. It always felt like he was on the back foot. He had to go to mills pretty quickly. And looking over at SoldieR, he still had coin mines left on the map, still had some berry bushes, did transition to a few what's the word? Rice paddies. Thank you. I'm thinking my brain there. My brain had a little bit of a lapse there. But yeah, I did have a couple of rice paddies out, but he didn't really have to actually transition to it fully yet. So really good stuff from SoldieR. Being on a water map, he does ship the Fushuan. He does have the dock out. He's able to get a war junk out. And we see that SoldieR takes that victory 1-1 apiece. We'll take a look at the post games real quick. Anything you really want to see on the post game stats?
I'd like to see the resources gathered. I think what's absolutely crazy to me is that even though we've got H2O with Portuguese, which is a top tier civilization on water maps, and he's up against China, which isn't considered top tier, especially not on water maps, and the fast industrial is able to keep up pace with it, and it's able to outpace it despite such a disparity in resources generated. So the fast industrial for China is just so incredibly strong. So I think that this graph here really tells an interesting tale, that even though Portugal was in its perfect and optimal conditions, it still wasn't able to pull through against that strategy.
Yeah, really, really well done from SoldieR. SoldieR, known as kind of a jack of all trades, master of none, or at least very few, when it comes to civilizations. And H2O being the old guard, we do see that SoldieR takes that game off of H2O. So it's 1-1 apiece. Responding to y'all's comments on lag, I've actually had 0 frames dropped in the past hour, none at all. So perhaps you could lower the settings so it's not, it doesn't have to be 1080p necessarily, whatever you guys want. But yeah, really good game from SoldieR. Real quick, I want to look at the villager graph and the military graph. We see how quickly H2O got a lead, but SoldieR really being able to slow down that advantage he had, and by the end of it, with the 3 TCs, he was really able to do a lot. You don't always see 3 TCs on a non-port civilization, but really well done from SoldieR there. He added them at just the right time, and we see that the game was actually really close. So most all of it did get some lag spikes, as SoldieR had mentioned, and perhaps that's why he didn't fare as well in those fights. But as you can see, towards the end of the game, he was able to take fights better and better. We are going to get out of this game, and we're going to get into the next one. Yeah, really good game. So we see, first of all, SoldieR has played China. You can't play with that again. Game 1, we saw that H2O played India, and he can't play that again. The map, let me look at the map real quick. The map is going to be Manchuria. What do you think SoldieR is going to pick here?
Well, Manchuria is a map that's primarily focused on land, but you do have that small pond to the south of the map. So I suspect that we're going to, or at least hope that we're going to see a civilization that's oriented towards the water, but it's highly unlikely, just simply because the way that the map plays, it's just primarily a land map. So when it comes to civilizations, we might see Spain coming out. We could see he was very comfortable on that Russia in the first game again, so perhaps we'll see Russia again.
Yeah, I wanted to give a shout out to Viper. Thanks so much for the host, man. You're awesome, and you guys really, really appreciate that. We're gonna get to the next game here, and it is a match on a Manchuria, as you had mentioned, and we see the civilizations is Spanish versus Dutch.
So it's an interesting matchup. Spain is an incredibly aggressive civilization looking to do that quick, fast fortress. And we've got Dutch, which is the defensive civilization, always looking to repel and be as greedy as possible. So it's going to be really interesting seeing H2O in the south of the map on the Spain up against SoldieR in the north of the map on the Dutch. Personally, I'm rooting for SoldieR. I'm a big fan of the Dutch, so hopefully we'll see him pull out with a victory. He's going for a market start here as well.
Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't check I wasn't able to see what treasures he got. It's not very common to go with a market start, I don't think. Not as Dutch, but it's what he's done so far. He also has only 1 villager on coin. And if you're going market start, I think you should probably put 2, at least in my experience. 2 or 3 even. But we'll see what he does with it. Okay, he has 2 on it now. And he's gathering a little bit more wood to get the hunting dogs. Is this standard? I'm curious. Chat, let me know. I'm not the most prevalent 1v1 player, even though I'm pretty familiar with it. What do you think, Ozzy?
Yeah, typically in my experience, I've not seen this as standard. Yeah. So yeah, it's curious. Normally, as Dutch, you'd avoid going for the market early, just because you're not going to get the same value that the other European civilizations get out of hunting dogs. Because right now, SoldieR's got hunting dogs researched, but 5 of his settlers aren't on food, they're on coin. So he's missing that bonus for 5 of his settlers at the moment. Now those settlers will probably transition eventually to food, but in comparison to other European civilizations, it's just not as effective for the Dutch.
Yeah, you're completely right there. It's not even just 5 at the moment. He has 7 villagers on coin, which I don't understand that. You don't need more than 6 to keep up constant villager production. But I don't know. Maybe he knows something I don't. He's
It could
certainly.
be that he's looking to hit 15, and then as soon as he hits 15, he'll take everybody off and
Yeah,
transition them out over onto food.
that's a possibility for sure, and that's what he does do. He could have perhaps macroed that slightly better so that it would have been less idle time, but or non-gathering time, shall we say? But yeah, nonetheless, we do see 15 bills out. We do see he did pick up a nice 80 wood treasure, I believe it was. And going back over to H2O, he got a trade post out, so pretty standard start for Spain. We do see that H2O's Explorer and War Dog was able to find the Explorer of Soldiers, and he is able to harass that some soldier coming back to his TC. I don't expect it to. I don't expect him to lose that by any means. Looking over at the Yaks, we have 6 Yaks picked up by Soldier, and it looks like just 3 currently for H2O. We've got a 4th coming back right now. But
big fat stack of yaks that he's got there, so he's going to be using those to try and expedite his banks when he hits the second age.
I like your rhyming, Ozzy. Big fat stack of yaks.
Yes.
We do even see another yak coming back. But yeah, good stuff. We'll take a look at the decks real quick. For H2O, for H2O we do have ATP. I don't expect him to use that on this map specifically right now. There's only a few trade posts on the map. But if the trade post had spawned between the players instead of behind, more or less, then that could have been a nice touch. Looking over at the rest of his deck, he has 5 vills and 4 vills, so he could do some H2 play. You don't always see that with Spain. It's not something you actually expect a whole lot, but if you kept Dutch from building a lot of banks, that could be one way to win, theoretically. So the FF is definitely what you expect, though. Especially versus Dutch, I think, who can build banks and do well, but you don't expect them to put heavy aggression out super early. They can, but you don't expect it. Looking over at Soldier, he is aging. He's got all the wood for a bank out already, and he should be able to build the bank in just a bit. He still has so many yaks. Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah. So with H2O, I'm suspecting that he's going to be going for quite an aggro-fast fortress. So the name of his deck was quite a tell there. So for H2O's deck name, it was PR30 Spain. So he's most likely aging up with the governor. He's going to be putting down that outpost nice and close to Soldier's base, and he's just going to be slamming in units as hard and fast as he can.
Yeah, aging up with the governor, and we'll see. He does have the outpost coming out. I'm curious where he is going to put it. If Soldier is able to know where that is, that could help a little bit with his game plan. We see Soldier aged up with the 400 wood as is expected. He's got that bank already in transition, and he should be able to get more banks on the way. He's sending 700 wood, first card in H2, as is expected. He is building a barracks ASAP. Yeah. So versus an FF, there's a few different ways to play. You can either pressure hard and delay their FF or punish it as much as possible, or you could go a little bit more economic approach. If you have a really good boomy civilization, you could just take advantage of the FF being a little bit slower. As some of you may be aware, Spain does not have a fast age to 3 as an age up option. So it's a little bit slower than some other FFs. So we could see Dutch playing a little bit more eco heavy, but he has kind of done neither. Put a barracks up in base, and he's getting a
training pikes with it. So I think in this instance he's avoided sending the 8 pike shipment because he's obviously got to invest. That's a lot of resources that he's not able to invest otherwise. But he's gone straight for 5 pikemen, and my suspicion is those are going to be heading directly towards the tower, and he's going to start sieging. He's most likely going to try and force H2O to send an early shipment that he doesn't want to have to send. Maybe that could be 7 rods. That could be the 8 pike shipment. Just something to sort of throw him off the tempo. The other thing that he could be looking for is sieging down the trading posts and just getting out onto the field nice and early.
Yeah, for sure. He is going to run directly into the outpost of H2O in just a bit. And we'll see what he does with it. And it is going up now. There was a building there that H2O was building, but he canceled it. And these pikemen should be able to go down, I think, unless more units come in to defend them. 5 pikes versus an outpost. It's interesting to me that H2O is focusing different pikes. We'll look at the HP. All of them are lower HP. I'm not quite sure of the logic on that.
Are we able to see if H2O has managed to age up yet?
Yeah, we can do that real quick. He is halfway aged already. So, yeah.
So, an interesting strategy here from SoldieR. I'm not really sure what he was aiming to achieve there. It meant that when H2O had his Explorer standing right under the outpost, the only response would be that there was going to be dogs coming very shortly, and that he wasn't going to need to waste that shipment. So it's curious to see. H2O has only taken 1 trade post at this point, as well, so he hasn't picked up that second trade post. So perhaps this won't be. Is Spanish gold in the deck for H2O? Can we take a look?
I'm sure it is. Spanish gold, a card. Oh no, it's not.
No, it's not. Okay. Yeah,
this
that's interesting.
Perhaps it's just the old guard of H2O, not having the Spanish gold in deck. It's an extremely good card in Age 3. You ship it, you get 400 coin, and then every single shipment you send after that point gets you 400 coin. So oftentimes when you hit Age 3, you have around 2 shipments, 1.5 or more shipments available. And you with 2.5 shipments, it pays for itself already, and then it pays off the rest of the game. So it's a really, really nice card. He does not have it in his deck, though. He is shipping the Falconets. He has some pikes out himself. So I'm guessing he's going to push pretty quickly here. Looking over at SoldieR, he is not looking to age up anytime soon. He's going to be facing Falconets with H2 army, and not a large mass of that because he didn't even get that many banks out. He's still sitting only on 3 banks. Oh, he is aging up now. So he maybe... I must have just missing that. I probably looked right when he spent the resources and then looked up and saw him not aging. My bad on that. But
he's aging up with the Sergeant of Arms, which is, if I'm correct, it's the Halberdiers. So
could be. I don't know, to be honest.
Which is interesting. Often in 99% of cases, you'll see the Dutch players take the Exarch Prince. They want to hit the Fortress Age as quickly as possible. But he doesn't have a shipment ready at the moment, and he doesn't have a stable up. So he doesn't have a real incentive to be hitting the Fortress Age yet. Are we able to check what cards he's sent? To deal with these Falconets, often people will send Colonial Militia, but he hasn't included that in his deck.
Yeah. He doesn't have Colonial Militia. He, as some of you may know, Dutch do not have a 2 Falconet shipment himself. One of the weaknesses of Dutch actually is FF into 2 Falconets. It's pretty hard for Dutch to deal with. They can build an artillery foundry and get units out. Otherwise, you pretty much just have to go cavalry. But we see the pure pike support basically from H2O. He has a couple skirmishers there, but not many. That's enough to dissuade any pike aggression into it. We do see that the starting market from SoldieR has gone down, and I think H2O is in a commanding lead right here. Shipping Lancers, in fact, or getting them at least. I'm not entirely sure. Did he ship them? Yes, he shipped them. So Lancers is going to do really, really well versus these skirmishers. Soldier's going to need to call Minutemen and do anything he possibly can. Otherwise, the game's going to be over very, very shortly.
Yeah, he's got a nice little choke point here and just the right amount of pikemen, only 4 or 5. But it's enough to ward off those the lancers. So he's been able to take down 2 of them so far. So it's interesting. We've also got the Falconets that are pushed in right underneath the tower. So they're able to be taking pot shots here on the enemy infantry. And it looks like SoldieR's been able to age up, and the Halberdiers have popped out at the same time as the Minutemen. The skirmishers have dealt with them quite handily, and all of them have died, just leaving a couple of lancers now to poke down those skirmishers, so it's not going to be too hard for them.
Yeah, looking good for sure. And it looks like all of the units are going to be cleaned up on SoldieR's side, or for SoldieR. All of his units will be cleaned up. He is shipping Hussar right now. You should be able to take out the Falconets with that. with them popping out of the TC. But yeah, it's pretty close in all reality. Go ahead.
He's got 17 idols though. That's the issue. With 17 idle villagers, it means his income right now is very, very slow. So he's got 3 banks up, which is roughly 12 villagers, and he's got 6 villagers that are working. So he's got an economy of 18, and that's versus H2O at the moment, who's probably got close to 30 villagers. And
yeah, the army has pushed back, though. Defender's advantage. We see that SoldieR is able to push that back. Looking over at H2O, he lost his balconets. He has a barracks, but that's the only military building he has. Looking at his economy, he has 29 villagers. Obviously, no banks. He does have that trade post. So he has the equivalent of about 31 villagers. Looking over at SoldieR, he has 3 banks. It's kind of worth 12 villagers, so he has the equivalent of about 37 villagers himself. So, yeah, it's definitely very close. The SoldieR
that 5+ timing was very, very fortunate. Picking up both of the 2 falconets, it really swung the battle around. And it means that at this point, it's difficult to determine who's in the lead. With SoldieR putting up a stable as well, it means that he's going to be transitioning into most likely Reuter Skirm. And that is a very potent combination, very difficult for Spain to deal with. And if he's able to establish a significant mass, it can mean that the game will be over for H2O.
Yeah.
But we see SoldieR in here pushing with this large mass of pikemen. Are we able to check what the health is on the town center? So it's got 4,000 health, not really under any sort of threat.
Yeah, it'd be nice for him to be able to heal that back up or repair it. But he doesn't have the wood quite yet. Looking over at H2O, he has a lot on food. He did ship 4 Lancers, and perhaps with the Lancers he'll be able to clean this up. We'll see. We do have some Reuter out though, so Reuter and Cavalry, I think they'll be able to they'll hold just fine versus the Lancers coming in. At least just 4 Lancers, put it that way. But yeah, good army composition out from SoldieR. The skirmishers and Reuter are very strong. One of the hard things about Spain is Spain does not have any ranged units that they can ship. It's all basically pikemen, cavalry, and rods. You do have 2 falconets. That is a ranged unit, but you don't have any musketeers or skirmishers or anything like that. We do have a little bit of a raid, if you will, coming forward here, and it looks like the units are going to go down. Just 1 villager there for SoldieR. SoldieR is backed up. I think that's the hardest thing for him in this position. He has 1 mine. The second mine isn't really even very safe, to be honest. And he's got a 1 hunt over here. He's eating the yaks now. But yeah, I like H2O's position a little bit more, but SoldieR could definitely pull this out.
Yeah, we're able to switch over to SoldieR and see what he's got incoming. Yeah, so he's looking to mass skirmishes here, and this is the win condition by winning the skirmisher war. Because for SoldieR, all he needs to do is clear out the Lancers. You clear out the Lancers with just your 10 Reuters, and you're going to be fine. So as long as you win the skirmisher war, that's all you need to worry about. And so he understands that. He's shipping more skirmishers from the home city. And these pikemen that H2O's got are essentially useless. They're able to siege, but that's realistically it. There's no real other purpose for them.
Yeah, they could tank some shots, but I mean that's siege and taking shots is pretty much all they can do. They can try to push some Reuter backs to ensure Lancers are able to get on top of the skirmishers. We do see that H2O is adding more Lancers, so that is good to know. I don't think SoldieR knows that yet. He knew that there was a 5 Lancer and 4 Lancer shipment, but if he does not have enough Reuter to defend, he is building more. But if he
it's a concerning amount of Lancer to see. That was looked about 9 or 10 Lancer, and he's shipped 5 Hussars as well.
Yeah.
That's a game-winning amount of cavalry right there. So SoldieR needs to be incredibly careful here because he's pushed out a little bit too far from his town center, and it means that without scouting that cavalry mass, he could lose that skirmish of battle before he even fires a shot.
Yeah, it's looking good for SoldieR in a lot of ways. I'm curious if either player is going to go for an artillery foundry. Artillery foundry in H3 is not super common in 1v1s. It does happen, of course. It happens a good amount of games, but it's fairly common for a player to not build an artillery foundry at all in H3. And that could swing things, but we have the fight coming in here. Lancers and cavalry coming up. I'm not sure that's enough Reuters. Reuters are basically worth half a goon each. And the Lancers and Cav get on top of the Skirmishers. Skirmishers pulling back a little bit more. Reuters are going to be tanking, but those Pikemen come in. That's where the Pikemen can do really well. Pikemen with Lances are really good because they can smash these Reuters. Having the multiplier versus the Reuters is huge. And I believe H2O is going to completely smash this fight. He is smashing this fight. There's going to be no army left from SoldieR whatsoever. Really well done from H2O there. A large amount of Lancers. Those Pikes even doing quite a bit. And it's, I don't know that SoldieR has an answer at this point. I don't know what he possibly could do. That's a really, really good fight from H2O.
Incredibly good fight. He did so well to keep that cavalry secret, and there we see SoldieR tapping out, so taking the score from 1-1 to 2-1. H2O with the lead now. So it's, yeah, the fact that he was able to hide the cavalry there really is what kept this strategy, or kept his position able to win, because all SoldieR needed to do was pull back. If he had just pulled back with his skirmishers, pulled back with his Reuters, and waited behind his town center, he had 9 routers on the way. He was building more. That would have been a significant amount that would have been able to repel those Lancers and those Hussars, but it wasn't, and it meant that he got caught out because he didn't know the cavalry even existed, and it finished with a GG.
Yeah, for sure. Really, really good game. You guys are asking in chat, how did it get to be SoldieR playing Dutch versus H2O Spain? It was a SoldieR won the previous game on what was it, Indonesia? You said. Let me go back.
Yeah, it was Indonesia.
Yeah, no, well, Borneo, basically Borneo, Indonesia. But yeah, he won that previous game, China versus Ports, and so he had to pick first. So he picked Dutch and on Manchuria, and H2O picked SoldieR into it. It is a best of 7. And you cannot win with the civilization more than once. So if you win with the civilization, you can't play it again. So good stuff from SoldieR and H2O, but H2O picks that game up, and he takes that victory. We'll look at the post-game stats real quick for you guys. It is 2-1 currently in favor of H2O. We see units killed. H2O had a definite advantage there. When you win the last fight, that really does a lot. We do see SoldieR having the 47 skirmishers versus the 27 of H2O. That's telling. Having so much cav, H2O having so much cav was able to really take advantage of that. Looking over at the combat XP, that also echoes that, and looking at the villager population, we see H2O was in the lead, but SoldieR with the banks should have had the advantage there. We'll look at resources gathered, and yeah, that's what's shown. But yeah, 2 Falconets did a lot early, able to clean up the army from SoldieR early, and then the massed Lancers and even the Pikemen coming in to clean up the Reuters a little bit at the end was really, really nice stuff from him. Anything else you want to see in post-game stats, Ozzy?
No, I think you've covered it all. It's interesting to see that even though SoldieR was ahead on resources, that he wasn't able to keep up with the Spanish fortress age shipments. They come so quickly. Are we able to take a look and see what shipments H2O was able to send? So he's shipped absolutely every single unit card in the fortress age. Yep. He's really played that PR30 Spain perfectly. That's more like a PR35 Spain right there.
Yeah, for sure. Looking over at SoldieR, wait, there we go. Looking over at SoldieR, he got the 3 bank. It's a 3 bank FF that he did, and he got the market up in age 1. It's some, shall we say, non-meta play, if I understand correctly, if I understand the meta correctly. And
yeah,
we see H2O
that's definitely what I would say.
Non-meta play. All right. We do see that H2O takes that victory. We're going to get into the next game in just a bit. The next map is, let's see, the next map is Mexico. What do you think, with H2O picking first, what do you think might be some possible matchups for that game?
So Mexico, it's an interesting map because you've got the trading line, and it's separated in the middle by quite a large impassable terrain. So my first thought is you're going to need a civilization that's got dragoons, just because of how commonplace raiding is and how open the map is towards the outside. So I'm expecting that we're probably going to be seeing something like French. Oh, there you go, French. French or maybe even Dutch again. But it looks like the matchup that we've got is French and Brits.
Yeah, French versus Brits. H2O picks France. France is one of the best civs to blind pick because they don't have any hard counters when it comes to civilizations. They do decent into everything. There are some civilizations that do a little bit better, but they can win in basically any matchup. So H2O blind picks France, and SoldieR counter picks with Brits on Mexico, and we're getting into it now. This is game number 4 of the show match between H2O and SoldieR. H2O is up 2-1. H2O is a player that has he was around in the past. He was a very good player, and he the top of the shall we say the leaderboards in the past. But he hasn't been playing quite as much recently. And SoldieR is an up-and-coming player that has done pretty well. Has played in several tournaments recently, and we see a matchup between the two. Pretty even match so far. You never quite know who's going to win until the end of the game. It's been pretty good games. We do see French versus Brits. I do expect both players to go for a trade post, and I believe that's what they have done. H2O. Wait a second. Okay,
there we go.
Got it. All right.
Placing it down now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so a little bit of background information on H2O. He's been in the competitive scene for an incredibly long time.
Mm-hmm.
There was a player who was from South Korea, and as we all know, with South Koreans and RTS players, they're incredibly competitive. And his name was I Am Grunt, and this guy was considered undefeatable. And H2O in the 2008 WCG, so that's the World Cyber Gamers, was actually able to defeat I Am Grunt in the grand final and was able to take him out. And he astounded the entire competitive community back in 2008. And I think today we're seeing that same thing happen. I'm really quite impressed with the play that we're seeing. Even though he's been out of the scene for quite some time, it's clear that there's absolutely no rust on his games.
Yeah, it's he's done really, really well. Thanks for the update, letting me know, guys, that the scoreboard is wrong. It has been corrected 2-1 in favor of H2O instead of SoldieR. And really good games. We do see that it is French versus Brits here. Now, between the two civilizations, Brits is really good at booming. They have the manor boom. They're very, very good at it. Looking at his deck, he does have Virginia Company. We'll see if he sends it. French are a civilization that can do a lot of different things fairly easily. We do see a market out from SoldieR from the Brits player. That's not something you see very often, I would say, but I think a house and a trade post is more common. But that's what he went with. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the second game in a row he's gone for a market start. Mm-hmm. So perhaps he's metagaming a little bit ahead of the meta at the moment. It's interesting to see him opt for these markets so often. But if there's a civilization that you do want to be getting hunting dogs and steel traps on, it is the British. And just simply because with each manor house, you're going to be getting an extra settler. And that settler is going to be able to take advantage of those market upgrades. Whereas civilizations like the Dutch, which are building banks, even though they're able to boom with their banks, they're not going to be getting the same bonuses from those market upgrades, just simply because they have less villages than the British.
Yeah, for sure. French eco is nothing to laugh at. The Brits are just amazing when it comes to getting a really strong economy. So there are some different things that you see from France. One of the more meta build orders is a semi-FF, where you build, like, say, 5 Hussar or a few muskets or something. And then go into H3 and you fight from there. British, on the other hand, tend to like to stay H2 for a while, getting a little bit of an advantage when it comes to your ability to build lots of manors and just mass up a lot. We'll see what both players do. I have no idea what SoldieR's going to do. He has played a little bit unexpected and played very well, but a little bit unexpected build orders for the civilizations, I would say. But he's done really well. We do see that H2O is just now aging up. SoldieR is a little bit ahead of him.
And SoldieR's also got Gangsaw as well, so that's a really big thing.
Yeah.
The fact that he went for that market first, he's got Gangsaw, and it hasn't affected his age up time. He's been able to get that extra 10%. So his 16 villages are now working at the same efficiency as 17.6 villages. So he's got that little bonus, which allows him to get his house out a little bit faster, and it begins to trickle in.
Yeah. All right, so I am aware of what you guys are saying about me lagging. I think what it is just me tabbing out and updating the scores is what you guys were talking about. So yeah, it's not going to be happening during the game. Perhaps that's what it was. But yeah, we see SoldieR, he's got Gangsaw. I'm curious if he's going to send Virginia Company. You see it sometimes, but usually if you're going to go Virginia Company, you go a manor and a trade post. But he has not done so. So he's just going to get some manners up. It's looking like he may do some more heavy H2 aggression, which Brits can definitely do. It's definitely within the realm of possibilities. He did get Gangsaw, so interesting thing there. I don't know. He's getting Gangsaw, but does not have Virginia Company. It's a little bit peculiar, shall we say?
Yeah, I think especially because of the way that he's building his manners. So he knows that the French player is most likely going to be going for that semi-fast fortress. He's probably going to be seeing a Hussar raid come in. H2O's also got the scout sitting right on top of those forward villages, and because he's putting manners there and adding further villages to it, to me that indicates that he wants to defend this. That he's made a decision that this is almost like his second base, and that he's committing to it. And because he knows the French player will be most likely going for that semi-FF, I suspect we're going to be seeing either a single or a double racks out of him.
Yeah. You guys are asking who the Aussie co-caster is. Aussie Drago is an amazing content creator that has come on the scene with DE and done really, really well. Interesting thing to note, real quick. Gonna get off the subject of Aussie being real good player. We do see, or real good content creator. We do see this manor put it right on top of the scout, and if SoldieR is paying attention, he will know that there is a scout there because he's not able to build it, and the only reason he couldn't build it is because there's a scout there. So he is bringing his hero back, but I guess I don't know.
Yeah. My suspicion, he might think it's bugged.
Yeah,
there's so many bugs going on at the moment in this game. He's probably just, he'll be lodging another ticket with that one. We see the Explorer coming over now to finish the shenanigans from happening. Get out of here.
Yeah, now if he's realizing it, he's going to realize, oh, that's not a bug. He does have several manors up. Didn't use Virginia Company to get them out. We do see a Musketeer start from H2O, Barracks and Musketeers. He is shipping. He shipped 3 CDB into 4 CDB, Courier de Bois, or I guess they're just called couriers on DE. And he shipped 700 wood as the third card. He does have some muskets coming forward. May be able to pick up some XP off of the Explorer here. But yeah, that's a lot of manners out from SoldieR.
Yeah, are we able to swap over to SoldieR and see what population he's sitting on at the moment?
Yeah, he's at 110. He's got 3 manners going up, though, so that would be 140. Yeah.
So his build, he's shipping 700 coin already. So my suspicion is he's gone 3 vills, 700 wood, 700 coin. So looking for an earlier age up rather than going for that 600 wood. But he's almost caught these muskets off guard. It looks like he's going to be able to get the snare on here with the Explorer. And if he does manage to catch up to them, it means that H2O is going to be losing another musketeer, which...
Yeah, really good micro from H2O there. He keeps one back, the one that the Explorer was targeting from SoldieR. And it looks like, I don't know, in this position, I think I give the advantage over to SoldieR. With his 700 coin coming in, he could use that to get more units out where he could age up. I I wouldn't assume he's doing one or the other. Perhaps he was sending the 700 coin. He was planning on sending the 700 coin before he knew that muskets were coming out from H2O, or at least several muskets. 5 might, you could semi-FF with 5. You could even semi-FF with 10. Looking back on that, it looks like H2O is actually going to semi-FF with 10. He does have Stagecoach coming out right now, though, and he will have a 3rd trade post. So really, really good stuff from H2O. Who do you think has the advantage in this position, Ozzy?
Yeah, I think they're quite evenly matched, both of them. There hasn't been a significant loss of villagers on either side, especially with H2O going for the trade route here, taking Stagecoach already so early into the game, and the French economy being so strong. I think that he's going to be able to compete with SoldieR when we head towards that mid-fortress timing that's so potent for the French. So with SoldieR, he's sitting on 42 villages. His 5 villager shipments just arrived, and he's macroing to age up as well. So we'll be looking at having that Fortress Age battle around the 10th minute mark. When it gets to that Fortress Age battle, though, I feel that French has the advantage just simply because of their unit composition. The skirmishers just outmatch longbowmen so much more significantly. They've got that extra bonus, and just generally at a higher level, you're going to be microing them a lot more efficiently.
Yeah, for sure. Longbow are very, very good versus goons, though. We do see that the musketeers are cleaned up. SoldieR cleans them up, but H2O got a decent trade in the meantime. I believe he took down 4, maybe even 5 musketeers himself. The SoldieR did not pick up the 2 musketeers in the back there, though. But yeah, SoldieR aging to 3. H2O is already age 3. He's shipping 2 falconets right now. I don't think we took a look at the decks, so we're going to do that real quick. We see pretty good decks. Interesting that he has sustainable agriculture and food silos.
Yeah, there's a lot of economic cards in here for a 1 versus 1.
Yeah.
So I think it definitely just goes to show H2O is planning on playing a safer game.
Yeah.
When you've got these economic cards in, I don't think he's going to be really looking to rush down the Brit with a timing attack.
Yeah, for sure. We do see Brits has refrigeration, but that's basically the only economic percentage increase card he has, because he of course has villagers and whatnot. But one thing that's really important to note in this situation, H2O has 3 trade posts, and with Stagecoach on them, is getting wood from every single one. It's looking really good for H2O, I think, for the situation. Looking at the villager population, it is 25 versus 43. Now, French villagers are significantly stronger, or gather 25% faster than British villagers' base gather rates, at least. So they are, it's a little bit closer than what it would seem to indicate. And of course, he has the trade posts also. So it's pretty close economically, but a little bit of a tempo advantage over to H2O with aging up early, having the 2 falconets out. Let's see what SoldieR does in response to this, though. He does see the falconets, and we'll see what he does. He's shipping 2 falconets himself. All right.
It's the appropriate response in this circumstance. So really, SoldieR's just got to be making sure that he doesn't lose his falconets when they pop out of the town centre. H2O has also got off a batch of 4 cuirassiers, so it's going to be quite potent in dealing with the musketeers. It's going to be able to snare them, and if they get that snare off, the falconets are really going to clean them up.
Yeah, for sure. We do see that H2O was deciding not to take this so far. That army is kind of out of position, to be honest. The Minutemen called, but no army around. I think that was a little bit of a waste of the Minutemen, to be honest.
I think he's looking for that flank, that snare, but yeah, I agree with you. Definitely a waste there. I think it's just been a bit of a mistiming, but SoldieR did the right thing in pulling back. He was waiting for his veteran musketeer upgrade. He was waiting for his 2 falconets. Had he taken that fight, or had he been snared by H2O, it would have been a very disadvantageous fight for him.
Yeah, for sure. Longbows versus skirmishers, longbows and goons versus skirmishers and goons. I definitely give the advantage over to Brits. Longbows are very good versus skirmishers and very good versus goons, but the moment there is cuirassiers or cuirassier on the field for H2O, it could be really bad for him. he obviously is starting some, so he may just go Cuirassier, Cannon, and Skirmishers. That's looking like what he's going to do. He has not made any goons yet. One thing about H2 about Cuirassiers is they actually do really well versus Hussar. In a straight up fight, say, I don't know, 10 Cuirassier versus like 12 Hussar or whatever, the Cuirassier will clean up that pretty well. The area damage from them is just really potent. But we do see H2O pulling back a little bit. SoldieR has the score lead. H2O has the 4th trade post. So as good of an eco as he could have in this position, I think. And SoldieR does have 150 population. He hasn't maxed out on manners, but he's trying to thread the needle and get just the right amount of army out while still getting a really good eco.
Yeah, he's dropping down a second town center here. So it seems quite early to me for this second town center, just especially because the first fight hasn't really happened yet. So there's still quite a lot in the way of military on the field. So I'm curious to see how this is going to play out. He's also got a shipment, so he's just sent. Is that the 10 longbowmen that's on the way at the moment? So sending those Fortress Age unit shipments, making sure that he's got as many units out on the field. It's important in 1 versus 1 that you're shipping unit shipments once you've hit the Fortress Age. It makes a huge dent in the size of your military force when you're shipping unit shipments versus unit upgrades. There does become a point where it's more effective to send a unit upgrade. But in this case, oh geez, isn't that's an unfortunate herd right there.
Reading chat real quick, I was saying that longbows beat skirmishers. Longbows beat skirmishers and goons. They do really, really well. So I was saying the opposite of what you guys are saying. I was saying. But yeah, skirmishers and goons versus would be a sort of a bad composition for France. But that's why he's building the Cuirassier. He has skirmishers himself. I think I like the army composition out from H2O significantly more. If the falconets trade evenly, the skirmishers and the Cuirassier are going to do a lot better into the muskets and the longbow.
Yeah, it's really going to come down to the Falk War here. Whoever wins the Falk War is most likely going to be in prime position. But yeah, I agree with you. In looking at this composition, I'm definitely favouring H2O. But there's a huge amount of muskets on the field, though, and muskets do quite well against the Cuirassiers.
Yeah, I do agree with chat. I think SoldieR is behind at this point. Just the Cuirassier, the skirmishers. I mean, to be honest, the skirmishers could clean up this whole army right here. There's just not enough longbow.
It looks like H2O to win the Falk War.
That was really, really rough. Shooting. Oh, and he doesn't even get a single shot onto the falcons. All right, that could almost be GG right there. Yeah.
That's it. The game is over. You lose the Falk War, and 99% of the time you'll lose the game.
Yeah, and he lost it completely. He didn't even get a single shot into the falconets there. And yeah, that was rough to see. I don't know what SoldieR could do in response to that. The falconets took a double shot onto the trading post and then tried moving it about. Just lost both of them without getting a single shot where they needed to be.
I don't think it was a mistake on SoldieR's part. I think it was most likely a little bit of mismicro or a command not coming through. He was definitely aware of what was happening. I don't think he quite had line of sight on H2O's falconets, but I think he knew he could smell them. They were that close, and that shot that came off was not as a result of a command, but as a result of the falconets sitting idle on the ground, and they just acquired the trading post. So it's unfortunate that it happened in that circumstance, but nonetheless, it was a good game.
Yeah, something else we didn't mention until now. The scout from H2O was really, really nice. He knew exactly what was coming, and he was able to prepare for it beforehand. So he knew exactly where when the fight was going to take place, what he needed to do. He was able to basically know exactly what he was going to need to do into that fight before it even presented itself. So really well done. I honestly think just that army composition would win like almost every single time in a straight up fight. So well done from H2O, and that brings it to 3-1. 3-1 H2O. Were you expecting him to do this well, or what were you thinking?
Yeah, well, my suspicion was that he'd still be a little bit rusty, but he's playing incredibly well. His micro is really on point. It doesn't look like he's forgotten a thing. So it's incredibly exciting to see. I'm looking forward to having him back on the competitive scene because he's most likely going to completely dominate it. So
Yeah.
very exciting.
Yeah, really good stuff from him. We see, we'll look at the post game stats real quick for you guys. H2O just cleans that up, 80 to 24. Combat
Yeah,
XP
wow.
more than double. Looking over at the military unit population, we see H2O even had the advantage. Like it was pretty close most of the game, but towards the end of the game, he definitely had the advantage even before that fight took place. Looking over at the villager population, we see SoldieR had quite a bit, but the TP line isn't taken into account there, and the TP line is really, really good. Resources gathered. You see H2O even had more resources gathered. You see how
Yeah.
important that TP line is. So really, really well played from H2O. And SoldieR gives up all 4 trading posts relatively for free. He starts with a market and a manor, and no Virginia company, and he tries to get a H3 out there, and his SoldieR takes away game number 4. So game number 4 over to H2O. It is a best of 7. That means the next game is match point. If SoldieR wins it, then it will keep on going on. Otherwise, H2O wins the whole series. So we'll see what happens in it. The next map is going to be
Got Central Plains up next.
yeah, the Central Plains. With H2O picking first, he cannot pick France. So this is where I think SoldieR might have a bit of an advantage, if you will. France is a very good civilization that is able to do pretty well into almost every other civilization. So what do you think he might pick in response? What do you think he might do?
Yeah, well, I think the most important thing with this map is that it's got a lot of trading posts on it. So he might be looking for an ATP civilization that he can utilize. And because there's that many trading posts, it means that that ATP just has so much more strength on this map. So we can see who someone's picked the Germans.
Yeah, it
We've got
is Germans versus Ottomans. So Germans
whoa,
pick Ottomans first, blind picks. Germans currently are extremely strong. They are a very good civilization. They got some buffs. Their shipments arrive 7% slower than normal. On RE, it was 12%, I believe, and on EP, I believe it was. On EP, it was 9% slower, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, chat, but definitely a really nice buff for Germany. They start with 100 coin. There's a nice little trick that I've seen happen sometimes recently, and I believe H2O is going to do it. He sells 100 food and then buys 100 wood, and you can get. Wait, what happened there? Why does he have only 30 coin? Oh, he got a treasure earlier, and he's already getting hunting dogs. Wait, why doesn't? Wait, what? I don't understand that. Is that like a bug or something?
no, I think he picked up a coin treasure early, and then he's just bought wood because he gathered the coin, and so he would have had.
No, he bought 100 wood.
Oh yeah, right.
I don't know. Maybe he just I don't. I have no idea. I guess he bought wood. Yeah, he with the villagers he has in queue. He just picked up a coin treasure, bought wood, and then chopped a bit more. He has hunting dogs coming in. He should be able to get a house out in just a bit, and nice little trick he can do. Looking over at the matchup, it is Germany versus Ottomans. Germany is a pretty good FF civilization. That's kind of where their strength lies. But there are some different possibilities they could do. With their buffs, they are able to play Mage 2 significantly better. Looking over at Ottomans at the civilization that SoldieR picked, Ottomans are a civilization that I would say most people agree that Ottoman FF is generally better than German. It's so good that there is common memes about it being a botto FF because it's just so easy. Everyone just automatically FFs and you just free win. But yeah, he's doing there's some different options. Ottomans actually has a really good H2 play. They can go Janissaries, very good unit. They can go Abyss. You can go. You can do cavalry. There's a lot of different options in H2 that are very strong. So I would say if it came down to H2 play, Ottomans has the advantage. If it came to H3 play, I think with the buffs to Germany, we could actually see Germany come up on top. But Ottoman is definitely very good in an FF situation. Got 90 wood being picked up here. Yeah, what do you think about the matchup yourself, Ozzy? Who do you think has the advantage and whatnot?
Yeah, well, we see at the moment that it looks like SoldieR's going to be attempting to pick up a second trade post. So, are we able to see what his shipments he's sent so far? Has it just been the 3 vills? Yeah, so he doesn't have ATP in the deck, no Silk Road either. So we'll most likely be seeing him heading towards the Fortress Age. So look, I think it's definitely going to be a battle of the bold. The two, in my opinion, these two civilizations are top tier civilizations. At the moment, when it comes to ranked play and 1v1 play, the onus is definitely on the Ottomans, though, to make sure that they can close it out before the Germans really start building up that big mass. So we'll see if SoldieR's able to hit his timings. Germany's going to have a little bit of difficulty dealing with the 2 Falconet shipment. As long as SoldieR's able to protect the Falconets, he should be able to steal the victory.
Yeah, one thing that's worth noting is if you don't take into trade posts into account, Germany should have the advantage in economy. Having the settler wagon shipments is just huge. Also, one thing to note, I'm not entirely sure if SoldieR intended this, but I think it maybe misclicked having a Grenadier and Avis gun hit points increased instead of having the plus 15% HP on all artillery or even the plus 15% attack. I think that's probably, unless you're going Abyss or Grenadiers, that's definitely the worst card of the 3. So, yeah, a little bit interesting card choice there. Yeah, looking
starting
over
off with 700 wood as well, which is an interesting card.
Yeah, it tells
building
me
a barracks and race in base. So
that tells me he's going to try to control the map with the TPs.
Yeah, perhaps we're going to see some H2 play out of him. It's a very curious barracks placement though. Perhaps not wanting to signal anything to H2O and let him know what his intent is, because it is still quite early in the game. H2O still hasn't aged up, 4 minutes 20, and SoldieR's already finished the barracks in his base.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, barracks and bases is a little bit peculiar, but one thing worth mentioning is you're going to have Uhlans out from Germany no matter what, because you get Uhlans with every single shipment. The cavalry that are a pretty decent unit. They are buffed compared to EP. If you guys are familiar with recent tournaments, the ESOC patch EP didn't have... It had a little bit lower HP on the Uhlans. So it's kind of reverted back to the RE and it has additional HP. The Uhlans are a little bit stronger than they were in recent tournaments. So it's the Uhlans are definitely an option. He is starting with DOPS though. Very high siege unit, and he's also going 700 wood. So in the battle of FF civilizations, we see neither civilization going for an FF. We do see that SoldieR is shipping 700 coin right now. Based on his macro, I think he's probably going to just use it to make more Janissaries. But yeah, especially with 700 food coming in.
I think we're invested for H2 right here. And yeah, if we're going to give it to anybody, then I think it's definitely favored towards the Ottomans in this situation.
Yeah,
it's interesting that we saw the barracks start out of H2O and the Germans as well, especially with the Doppels. He's opting for the siege heavy, as you mentioned, so aiming to burn down those trading posts instead of really looking for that head-on fight.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, versus Ottomans, you kind of expect them to probably FF, although they don't have to by any means. So, wanting to stop that trade post just snowball from coming out, he opted to make some DOPS, which very high siege unit. It's not a bad choice in this position by any means. Certainly, crossbow are not high siege. I think they're the lowest siege unit in H2 that Germany could possibly make. So if you're trying to take down buildings, it's a really good choice. We do see, I think the Dops, the snare from the hero is going to allow the Dops to get on top of the Janissaries. And if these Janissaries were to go down from it, that'd be pretty big. We do see SoldieR doing excellent micro, though. All of his Janissaries are not close together, so the area damage from the Dops are going to mean a whole lot less. And he's microing perfectly. That is amazing to see. Really well done from him. That is split was really, really good. We see the HP on these Janissaries. Not a single one has gone down yet. One just went down, but yeah, really good stuff. The Ulan coming in now and going to clean that up. Some more Dops coming out. And it looks like this other TP may go down very shortly for SoldieR, or for H2O's TP. So really good micro from SoldieR, but we do see he does lose that fight. Dops very strong, very expensive though. 75 food, 125 coin. That's 100 coin more than a Janissary. 100 coin more than Janissary. And Janissary's 90 food, 25 coin. Pretty cost effective. Very good stats on them. And he is able to do pretty well here. We do see a few more Janissaries coming in. This fight could kind of decide how the rest of this game plays out for sure.
Yeah, we're seeing some really good micro here from SoldieR. It's incredibly impressive. So the Doppelsoldners have got an area of effect attacked. So by moving them, the Janissaries away from each other, it means that he minimizes the amount of damage that those Janissaries are taking from the Doppels. We've also seen a trade post swap in the meantime. So SoldieR's now taking that bottom trade post that he's been able to burn down. We haven't seen H2O try and put up his trade post yet, mainly because he's too busy caught snaring, and unfortunately the Explorer's been knocked off here. So really the tempo is definitely swinging in favor of SoldieR. He's got 4 trade posts up, or he's about to have his 4th trade post up now, and H2O's resorted to sending crossbows from the home city.
Yeah.
This is not a position that he wants to be in.
Yeah,
sending unit shipments in the second age as the Germans, it's really something that you will want to avoid doing. He's also got quite a fair few idle settlers at the moment, or not idle settlers, but settlers that aren't gathering. So it means he's in a difficult position to try and get full batches out. He's managed to get a full batch of crossbows out, and should hopefully be able to repel these Janissaries once the 8 crossbows arrive.
Yeah, these settler wagons having range resist, SoldieR even microing the Janissaries into melee on them. Well done from him. 8 crossbow shipment and 2 Ulans is pretty decent card in all reality, but yeah, crossbows 100 HP, 16 damage. They have a 2 times versus the or 1.25 times actually versus the heavy infantry. So the Janissaries actually do pretty well into them, to be honest. It's probably a little bit cost efficient for the crossbows, but Janissary is an excellent musket type unit. I believe the settler wagon may go down though. 1 HP left, and it does go down. So nice pickup from him.
Yeah, in addition to that, SoldieR's also picked up the 5th trading post now, so he's got the entire line. He's got Stagecoach as well, so that's the equivalent of 15 villages that is in action for SoldieR. He's also managed to age up as well, so what politician is he elected to go up with?
He is going up with the Scout.
Scout.
I don't remember which one that is.
It's 4 Hussars.
4 Hussar, okay. Apparently Scouts are really good at or Hussar are really good at scouting. Yeah, he does have a barracks coming up in the back, a church coming up now. He's been sitting on 25 villagers for a little bit, which means his TC has basically been idle for that whole time. Ottomans automatically train villagers, but they train a little bit slower, and it doesn't cost any resources to train them originally, but you need to get some upgrades in the mosque to be able to train more than 25. Are
we able to check SoldieR's shipments and see whether he's sent villagers from his home city? He has sent villagers from the home city, so yeah, really reducing the effectiveness of those 5 villages.
Yeah. Looking over at H2O, he shipped 2 settler wagons, 3 settler wagons, 700 wood, 700 coin, and the 8 crossbow. He does take down a 2nd trade post now. He has a couple Dops in there. Dops and crossbow, pretty good unit composition. Of course, you get Ulans from cards and whatnot. He does not have a stable out. He is going to try to get some raids. Some Janissaries out for defending, though. I don't think the Ulan are going to do a whole lot. And
He's also managed to get up as well, so he's about halfway done now, aging up with the exiled prince. So it means he's going to be able to be matching SoldieR's age up time quite competitively.
yeah, yeah, really well done.
It's interesting
Apparently,
to see the tempo shift.
yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
sorry, go on.
Respawning chat a little bit. Yeah, there's been some amazing micro in this game for sure. The chat was saying that earlier one of the settlers was saved because one settler blocked the Janissary from being able to chase it. So just amazing micro done. We do see several trade posts being taken down. Another one just built for SoldieR, and so he's building them up as they get depleted, which is pretty good. You got a trade post. Let me go over to SoldieR's point of view. 81 wood per pass, and it goes by pretty fast. So to 2.5 passes, and it's paid for itself already. So having those is really really nice. Yeah, a little bit of a tempo swing. We do see Mamelukes coming in. Mamelukes.
Incredibly difficult for the Germans to deal with, but fortunately H2O's got the right unit. It's the Doppel. So the Mamelukes have got 40% range resist and a huge health pool. The Doppels, on the other hand, are melee units, and they've got melee resist. So H2O is going to have to try and micro his best to make sure those Doppels don't die before the Mamelukes are out.
Yeah.
He's also is it shipping Black Rider from the home city?
Yeah, he is.
So, yeah.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah.
Those Black Riders will pretty much completely counter those Mamelukes.
Yeah. So I think H2O's, even though he's behind on score, he might be in a bit of a better position once that trade happens.
Yeah, for sure. We see SoldieR has a decent amount of map control at the moment. H2O is pulling back a little bit. Those Black Riders, when they arrive, can do an amazing job versus the Mamelukes, and they're going to come in at just the right time, too.
Yeah.
Really, really nice shipment. He shipped it before he even knew that the Mamelukes were coming, I believe. So really, really good stuff. SoldieR has to immediately go backwards and not fight this anymore. Skirmisher's coming out now. Yeah, this SoldieR's going to lose a lot on this retreat. He's trying to sacrifice some Janissaries to make sure his cav can get away. I mean, the Janissaries are slower than Black Riders, so you're just not going to do a whole lot in this position. Pulling away is all you can do, but with the Black Riders being faster and having more of them, SoldieR's going to just lose more and more units. We do see SoldieR picking up a 5th trade post in just a bit, though, so good stuff from him. All of them are still on wood, interestingly enough. Yeah, I like
this
H2O's
position that. Yeah, I like H2O's position as well. This is not a position that SoldieR wants to be in. He really wanted to, by this point in time, have had a nice mass of Janissaries built up. He wanted to have his Mamelukes shipped, and he wanted to be hitting with that timing attack. But his mass of Janissaries has been completely destroyed by the Black Riders. The Black Riders also counter his Mameluke shipment. So Germany's just really had a checkmate almost here.
Yeah, some villagers going down, and that's pretty much that's the majority of SoldieR's eco. So really, really hard stuff for him there. He's definitely on the losing end of this matchup or this game so far. He's gonna get those villagers into the TC. I don't know what SoldieR is going to be able to do to combat this.
I think he's thinking at the moment a second artillery foundry is what he's going to be able to do. So he's going, double Abus guns.
Yeah, Abus. All right. And H2O sending Ulan to deal with this. So it seems like H2O is just one step ahead pretty much this whole game. He had those Ulan coming in before he even saw the artillery foundry. So yeah, really, really good stuff from H2O. He's I think he's just like literally like one step ahead of SoldieR this whole entire game.
Yeah, it's quite natural for after you've seen that Black Rider shipment to go, all right, well, I need my skirmishers to be able to counter this. And yeah, H2O's done the right thing, just shipping Ulan straight away. So we might see him wait around for a cav combat timing and be able to finish off SoldieR with that. Otherwise, 9 Ulan should be enough to deal with just a handful of Abus.
Yeah, one thing I would have liked H2O to do is not shown that he had the Ulans. He would have easily taken down that trade post without it. So yeah, having the Ulans just not be seen would have been nice. Also, it'd be nice to get the veteran Ulan on those. Would definitely help out some. Some Avis out on the field, and we see one trade post goes down from the Dops, I believe, that just finished it off. Avis, very, very strong unit, and they should be able to do
Yeah,
decently well, but it's going to be hard to deal with the cav from H2O. SoldieR has no anti-cav at the moment. Yeah.
H2O has got to be very careful with his Black Riders because even though Black Riders have got a high health pool, the Abus are going to be able to shred straight through it. They do have a negative multiplier against the Black Riders, but with their distance and once they start building up into that significant mass, we see soldiers continuing to add Abus guns now. He's just got out another batch of 4. So he needs to be really careful with those Black Riders.
Yeah, the Black Riders aren't going to be very effective here. Ulans also are kind of like a glass cannon type unit. They have very high damage, very low HP. So if they can get taken out quickly, if they can if perhaps they're missed microed or really good micro from SoldieR or something, it could definitely swing a fight very heavily. He also is shipping SoldieR is shipping some cavalry right now. So he is. They're still just Hussar, not Vet Hussar, and we see the Ulan from H2O are still just. Well, he's getting Vet Ulan right now. Interestingly enough, H2O is not building any villagers at all right now. I think he knows that the game may be over soon if he wins this next fight, and he's trying to invest fully into it. Very interesting stuff from him there.
Yeah, I think you're right. It looks like he's about to be going here. The Ulans are geared up, ready to go in, and with the Black Riders behind them, they're in quite a good spot here. They're in the open fields, but unfortunately, there's a little bit of blocking coming in from some of the Saigons.
Yeah.
But the Doppels are also in the front lines. The Abus need to be really careful, and yeah, okay, soldiers just called it.
Yeah.
So H2O had reached a point where he'd almost had critical mass, and
Yeah.
I think SoldieR was just aware of it. So unfortunately, SoldieR just giving up a little bit preemptively there, but H2O taking out the series 4-1.
Yeah, for sure. I think looking back on it, I think perhaps SoldieR was expecting to go and tech into Abus that whole game. This card is probably your best card if you're going Abus. Otherwise, it's not a very useful card at all. So we do see that SoldieR does lose that game, and that makes it 4-1. H2O takes the show match. Really well played from H2O. That is all 4 games going. 4 games going over to H2O, 1 going over to SoldieR. Several close games in that series, though, and really well done. What was your favorite point of that whole series? The favorite game and stuff in that, Aussie?
Yeah, the first thing that came to mind had to be that China versus Portugal game. I really enjoy seeing a water boom up against a fast fortress or fast industrial strategy. So for me, that was just really beautiful to see. Unfortunately, there was a bit of lag in the game, so we didn't get to see the best micro. But I enjoyed watching H2O do his best to hold on for dear life, and just unfortunately unable to do so. How about you? What did you think was the defining moment, or what did you enjoy most?
Yeah, I did. Well, obviously, that game where SoldieR won is a game in a series where the opponent wins. Having a game where where you win one is really nice because it shows that the game was perhaps pretty close. Out of all of them, I think that's probably the one I think I like the most. SoldieR played a little bit more meta. I mean, he did a FI, which is somewhat common, but some of the other matches, he tried out some maybe off meta stuff, and I'm not entirely sure it worked out. I did like the Dutch play. I just like seeing Dutch as a civilization. You don't see it very commonly in 1v1. And he wasn't able to win with it, but I did like seeing that civilization out there. I'm more of a team player than 1v1 personally, and Dutch are extremely strong in team, overpowered in some ways, but in 1v1 they are not usually considered a top civilization, so it's nice to see that played. We'll look at the post game real quick of this game, and we see it was actually very close, 57 units killed to 45. Combat XP almost double for H2O though. H2O did really well. He was killing higher population, more cost units, and you see that reflected there. Looking at the villagers, you see that soldier was actually idled for a little while. You can actually see.
Yeah, so it's the consequence of sending that 5 villager shipment so early. And not being able to macro appropriately to get the mosque upgrades in time. And it means that he's gone idle for a significant period of time there. I don't think it would have changed the outcome, but it would have at least contributed to the mass a little bit more significantly had he had those extra villagers in.
Yeah, I think it was only about one villager. I think it must have been housed in age 3 shortly after doing so, because this is where he has 26 villagers. Yeah, being housed, so it's basically 2 villagers lost due to being housed, and then also that one there. Looking at the resources gathered, it was actually soldier up ahead because of that, because of the trade posts. But I think perhaps the Avis just were not the, I don't know, the ideal unit. Could have gone maybe Janissaries and Falconets would have been better. It's hard to say. Germany has some, especially with the Black Riders there and skirmishers, has some pretty good options. So really good stuff. We see H2O actually has the military lead pretty much the whole game. So really, really good game. And yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed this cast a lot. I have. I really enjoyed casting with Ozzy. Ozzy, you did great. I think this is your first time ever casting an AoE3, at least ESOT game. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. It's the first time casting, so it's been a little bit nerve-wracking for me, but I've thoroughly enjoyed the series. It's been wonderful casting with you as well. You've been really supportive, and it's been wonderful. So I'm looking forward to having the opportunity to do so again in the future if you guys would like to see that. So yeah, thank you very much for inviting me along.
Yeah. You're one of my more favorite casters I've ever casted with. So, despite it being just the first time you've ever casted, give a good shout out to him, guys. And this has been JaileD casting, Ozzy co-casting. H2O takes the series versus SoldieR 4-1. I hope you guys had a great day. And if you guys are interested in Ozzy's YouTube channel, go ahead and shout that out real quick, Ozzy.
Yeah, so you can just find me on YouTube if you search for Aussie Drongo. I do a lot of Age of Empires 3 videos focusing on the Definitive Edition. Do a lot of analytical stuff as well as a couple meme builds.
Yeah, a couple meme builds. Meme builds are always fun. I am on twitch.tv/JailedAOE if you guys are interested in that. This has been JaileD casting, Ozzy Drogo co-casting. You guys have a great day, and I will see